here.
I'll stand next to your attorneys.
Calling case 2457709, people of the state of Michigan versus defendant number 1, Anthony Carter, defendant number 2, strike that, defendant number 3, Barry Love. Both defendants are charged in count 1 felony murder. Both defendants are charged in count 2 armed robbery. Both defendants are charged in count 3 felony firearm. Both defendants are charged in count 4 felony firearm. Appearances for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is James Kehoe. My number is 82812. Yeah.
And may it please the court, Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit by Jeffrey Konecki, P64800, Mr. Anthony Carter.
And may it please this court, Judge Artie Chambers, on behalf of Barry Love, number 63956, stands my record.
There's date time set for preliminary examination. Are you ready to proceed?
We are, Judge.
So you have 8 witnesses.
Yes, Judge.
You have any preliminary matters before you call witnesses?
To Your Honor, for purposes of examination only, Your Honor, there's going to be 2 stipulations. First, to the identity of the deceased, Elijah Reese.
So stipulated.
For exam purposes, yes, Your Honor.
Exam purposes only, yes.
Receive that stipulation.
Second, Your Honor, there's going to be a stipulation for the admission of proposed exhibit number 1, which is the medical examiner's report as it pertains to this case, Judge.
So stipulated.
For exam purposes, yes, Your Honor.
Exam purposes only, Judge, yes.
Admitted.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes. Sir, sit up. You may sit up.
Come around.
Okay.
May I read a portion of that into the record, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
This is County Report number 24-06637 by Dr. Omar Reyes, performed on Elijah Reese at the Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office back on May 23rd, 2024. It is my opinion that death was caused by multiple gunshot wounds. Postmortem examination revealed 9 gunshot wounds on the body, 2 to the chest, 1 to the back, 1 to the left arm, 2 to the right leg, 1 to the left leg, 1 to the right foot, 1 to the left hand. There was no soot or gunpowder stippling noted on the skin surrounding any of the wounds. Unless otherwise stated, the wound tracks are described from the body as being the standard. Sorry. Unless otherwise stated, wound tracks are described from the body as viewed from the standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wound to the left arm, labeled as GSW number 1. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the left posterior arm. The wound track proceeded from this injury through the soft tissue of the left forearm and exited on the left upper shoulder. Wound track is from back to front, left to right, and upward when the body is viewed in the standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wound to the back, labeled GSW number 2. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the right side of the back. The wound track proceeded from this injury through the right posterior 10th intercostal space, liver, right lobe, right lung, upper lobe, right posterior first intercostal and soft tissue of the right side of the neck. There was an exit wound on the right side of the neck. The wound track was back to front, left to right, and upward with the body suited in standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wound to the chest, labeled GSW number 3. There was entrance gunshot wound on the left anterior chest. Wound track proceeded from this injury through the left anterior 4th rib, left lung, upper and lower lobes, and left posterior 9th rib. There was an exit wound on the left side of the back. The wound track was from front to back when the body is viewed in standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wounds to the chest, labeled GSW number 4. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the right anterior chest. The wound track proceeded from this injury through the right anterior 4th rib, right lung, lower and middle lobes, and right posterior intercostal space. There was an exit wound on the right side of the back. The wound track was front to back, left to right, and downward when the body is viewed in the standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wounds to the left hand, labeled GSW number 5. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the left posterior 5th finger. The One track proceeded through the soft tissue and middle phalangeal bone. There was an exit wound on the left anterior fifth finger. The one track was from back to front on the body as viewed in the standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wounds to the right leg, labeled GSW number 6 and number 7. There were 2 entrance gunshot wounds on the right posterior leg. One track proceeded through the soft tissue of the right leg and exited on the right anterior leg and knee. One track was from back to front on the body as viewed in the standard anatomical position. Perforating gunshot wounds to the left leg, labeled GSW number 8. There was an entrance gunshot wound to the left posterior leg. The wound track proceeded through the soft tissue of the left leg. There was an exit wound on the left anterior leg. Perforating gunshot wounds to the right foot, labeled GSW number 9. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the right ankle. The wound track proceeded through the soft tissue of the right foot. There was an exit wound on the right dorsal foot. The manner of death was labeled as homicide, and that was signed by Dr. Omar Reyes on May 28, 2024. I have no further ordinary matters at this time.
All right, call your first witness.
So I would just ask for a sequestration of witness.
Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, if you are a witness or potential witness, I'm asking you to step into the hallway and to further notice. And that's a witness for either side. Ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land, if you are a witness or potential witness, I'm ordering you to log off at this time.
Thank you, John. Thank you. At this time, we call Sean Harris.
Okay. Please give your name and the spelling of your name to the young lady seated there.
John Harris.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm, your other right one, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat with this box next to me. Thank you. You can have a seat speaking to that microphone. You don't have to get too close to it. So
Okay.
you may begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Could you just state your name, please, sir?
Sean Michael Harris.
Thank you, sir. I want to draw your attention back to May 22nd of this year, okay?
Okay.
Where were you that afternoon?
I was on Dwyer Street,
Okay. And whose home is over there?
Shantisha Dobbs.
And what happens that afternoon when you're on Dwyer Street?
I was sitting in a house next door. She pulled up with 3 young men.
I'm gonna stop you there. Did you know these 3 young men?
No, this was my first time meeting them.
What did you see when these 3 young men come up?
They pulled up, they exited the vehicle, walked to the trunk, popped the trunk, was getting their things out the trunk of the car. As they were getting it out, they pulled out the 2 handguns, stuck them in their waistline.
Okay. Could you describe what those 3 individuals were wearing that day?
One of them had on all black, one had on a gray hoodie with gray jogging pants. The other one had on all black as well.
Okay. If I showed you some photos, do you think you'd recognize those individuals from that day, sir?
Yes.
I'm going to be showing defense counsel what I'm marking as people's proposed exhibits 2, 3, and 4. May I approach?
Amen.
Right order. Mr. Harris, I'm handing you three documents that I've labeled as people's proposed exhibits to grade court, okay?
I was very happy with the mask. I like that with mask.
I'm not talking about the mask, sir. Did I just hand you three documents though, sir?
Yes,
Okay, apart from the mask, sir, do you recognize those articles of clothing, sir?
no, they didn't have these on.
So it's different clothing, sir?
Different.
Okay. I'll take that back, just to make sure. Do you recall which two individuals had the guns, sir?
It was the little one they call 6 and the one they call Male with a scar on his face.
With the what face?
He got a scar across the side of his
Star across his face.
Yes.
Okay. Did you know the real name of the individual? You said 6?
Yeah, it was a younger one, looked like he's about 12 years old, dark skin.
Do you know his real name though?
No,
You recall giving a name to the police about that individual, sir?
yes, I spoke about Male.
No, there was one other individual though, sir. You recall writing a statement out?
Yes, I can't remember the names, but I never, that was my first time meeting him, so.
That's okay. How did you get these individuals' names or street names?
Shantisha Dobbs introduced them as her nephews.
When was that?
That was a Monday, I think it was, she brought them over.
Would this be the same day, before, after?
The same day I met them.
Okay. And this was the same day, just so we're clear that you saw the guns?
Yes, when they came over.
So going back to where I was, sir, if I showed you your statement, would that refresh your memory as to the name you provided to the police, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm showing first, as counsel, just the bottom of the first page. May I approach, sir?
You may.
Chance to read that, the bottom 2 lines there, sir, to yourself, not out loud, please.
Same person I spoke about.
Okay, what was that person's name?
I called him Male. Male, whatever they called him.
Well, what was the name you provided to the police?
That's the name I told the detective when he first interviewed me.
You didn't use the name Anthony?
No, I never knew their real names, previous names.
So why does your statement say Anthony?
I did not know about their real names.
Well, so sir, you did sign the bottom of the statement, didn't you?
Yeah,
Okay, and you were asked if there were anything that was wrong in your statement there,
yes,
and you said no, and then you signed the statement, is that correct?
yes.
So it's your testimony today, though, that you definitely did not say the name.
No, I never knew about their real names.
You saw, in your words, you said 6 and Mel had the 2 guns, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Did you see those boys after that day?
yeah.
When was that?
I seen them the next day. I seen them for like 4 days.
Okay. Did you talk to them?
Not really.
Do you remember them talking about something?
They stood in the backyard and talked amongst themselves about it. Mainly when if they talked about it around people, she'd tell them, keep your mouth closed, you don't talk about it.
Okay, what were they talking about?
Just basically what happened.
Well, you say basically what happened.
About basically what happened with the shooting, who was involved and who wasn't.
What did they say?
The one that I spoke about, Male,
Objection to hearsay, they have to be able to establish who said what.
I agree, Judge.
Sustained.
You also provided the police a third name. Do you recall that?
Male.
No, Mel, 6, and there was another name. Do you recall that?
No. I only knew the three. The main names I could remember was Mel and 6.
Okay,
The other young man name, street name, I never paid attention to, but he never really told us.
that's okay. I'm asking about a real name that Fred, do you recall that?
No,
But again, looking at your statement, help potentially refresh your memory.
no, but I never really don't know the other name you're speaking of.
I'm sorry.
No, but I would not know the other name you're speaking of. I only knew the 2 names I spoke of.
Well, so, but you gave the police several names. You said Anthony. That was in your statement, fair?
No, no, did not know none of them by their real
So,
name.
Mr. Harris, that's not the question. So in your statement I handed you, you used the name Anthony. That was on the statement, correct?
The detective asked me, do I know Anthony? I said, no, I know him by their street name.
So, Mr. Harris, I appreciate that. I'm just asking about what's written in your statement, okay? You used the name Anthony and you signed it under that sheet,
I'm
right?
gonna object to that. He answered if he used the name Anthony, he said he didn't know their names, didn't use it.
Ask him and answer.
What about the name Barry? Use that in the statement.
Yeah, he told me, yeah, Barry, I heard of that name before.
Okay, you told the police about Barry, didn't you?
Yeah, Barry was supposed to be the oldest boy.
Okay, what was Barry dressed like?
Barry was the one with all gray Jordans, gray jogging pants, with a gray hoodie.
Okay. Did you hear Barry say anything about this?
No, Barry was quiet, never talked, never had no conversation. Mainly stayed to himself.
Did you know Barry's straight name? Or nickname?
Santisha introduced him as her nephew, like he's saying.
Judge, that's what I'm hearsay. It was asked Tom, and those guys identification.
Okay, good. So fair to say you don't know the street name?
No,
And when did you see Barry with the gun?
I seen him in the backyard with the guns when they put him on the side of the garage.
Judge, I'm gonna object to that as well.
They need to know exactly who did what, sir. What did you see Barry do with it?
I seen Barry with the gun. He walked to the side of the garage, stuffed it down by the side. They proceeded to leave the backyard and go to the gas station.
Okay, and I know you indicated there were 2 guns, is that fair?
Yes,
What kind of guns were these?
I couldn't tell from the distance, but I know one of them had a red handle,
Okay. Do you recall what the other one looked like, just generally?
a black probably was a black 9mm.
A black handgun to be?
Yes.
Do you recall if it was the black handgun or the one with the red on it?
They both was black, but one had a red, like a rubber grip.
But the gun that Barry had, I'm asking about that. Do you
The
recall?
the one Barry had was the all black.
Who had the gun with the red handle? Was it 6 or male?
Male.
Just to be clear, the gun with the red handle, is that the same gun you told police that Anthony had?
Yeah, they all had it. The only one I never seen touch it was the younger boy, 6. I never seen it in his hand.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Cross examine.
I have nothing for you.
Mr. Harris, you were asked about a number of, or an interview with the police, correct?
Yes,
All right, and this interview with the police took place on June the 8th of 2024, fair to say?
yes,
in this incident, when you say that you first saw these three young boys and or young men, was May the 22nd, fair to say?
Yes, I think it was around that time.
And between May the 22nd and June the 8th, you never contacted the police about this situation. Is that fair to say?
I never knew it was a situation.
Okay. Oh. And so obviously you didn't call in any anonymous tips, fair to say?
No, I did not.
That's because you found no reason to, fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And you were asked about your written statement just a moment ago, fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to review your written statement
Yes.
before testifying?
Yes.
And you had a chance to review your written statement before you signed the written statement, fair to say?
Yes.
And that was when you were at the police precinct, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and actually, the reason you were at the police precinct was because you were under arrest for another matter, fair to say?
Yeah.
And then you came to talk about these three young men of the police, correct?
No.
But you gave this statement, and you spoke about these three young men or these boys that came to Ms. Dobbs' house, fair to say?
No, when I got arrested for the situation, the detectives came to see me and said, we have you, that Ms. Dow's residence during the time of the young gentleman's being there. I said, yes, I was.
Okay, let me stop you right there. I'm not asking about that, per se. Let me go back to your statement. So you had a chance to review your statement that you gave to the police, correct?
Yes,
And you gave both an oral statement and a written statement, fair to say?
I did a written statement, yes.
Okay, and the officer, obviously you want to be full and complete with the written statement, correct?
Yes,
And in your written statement that you signed after it was completed, there's nowhere in this written statement that anyone named Barry or anyone named Six had a firearm. Isn't that fair to say?
yes, I told him who had them twice.
But in this written, so to be clear though, in this written statement, it does not say that Barry or Six had a firearm.
I told him who had it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I mean, what he wrote is what he
But
wrote.
I'm asking you what you signed, your.
Yes, I signed it.
Report, right. You signed the report, and nowhere in your report do you make any mention in this written report of Six having a firearm. Isn't that fair to say?
Yes, I just said that Six never had a firearm. I just, I left him and said that I never seen him hold one.
That's confirmed.
Okay, you said this was the first, I'm sorry, can you redirect?
Okay.
You said this was the first time that you saw these guys?
Yes, sir.
All right, and how long was the interaction that you had?
Like I said, they never really walked. They was
How close
mostly,
did you come in contact with?
probably walk in the house, see him, walk back out.
But you said they were introduced to you, right?
Yes,
All right. Do you think you could, if you saw them again, you would recognize them?
Yeah.
Do you see either one of those people in the courtroom today? You can stand up. And look around.
yeah, I ain't got started. Yes, I know, never spoke with the young one right here. Six was the quiet, never talked.
Okay, which one is Six?
The smaller one.
The one to my far right?
Yes,
Okay. Indicating for the record, Barry Love. And do you recognize anybody else? Said
brother right here.
the one next to him.
Yeah.
Now, which one is he?
I didn't know, that's the one I never did. Like I said, I never had conversations with him, you know,
So they never told you what his name is?
no.
So he wouldn't be male.
No, Neil was the one they introduced with me, had a cut or something on his face.
All right. Okay. And so you said it was male who had the gun with the red handle.
Yes,
And you said that it was 6. You saw him hide a gun by the garage. That was the all black gun. Is that right?
All black, yes.
Any questions based on my questions?
Okay.
Just to be clear, you also just testified that you never saw 6 with a gun, right?
I said I never seen him get out of the car. I said, when they stood in the backyard, when they had the gun tied him on the side of the garage, Male, the dark skinned one, had the one with the red handle. 6 had the little, small black one. They stuck them on the side of the garage. When they went to the gas station, they proceeded to come back, they moved it, they picked him. I guess they got him back there.
And Judge, I gotta ask if that be strict with regards to where they went. There's no foundation as to how you would know where they went. Maybe some mention of the gas station.
How do you know they went to the gas station?
So they came back with a
How do you know those bags are from the gas station?
subway inside of our gas station. They came back with them.
Is there more than one subway in the city of Detroit?
It's only one in that area.
Okay, is there more than one? Is there more than one in the city of
How long
Detroit?
were they gone?
They was gone probably 5,
And how far away is the subway that has this gas station?
right through the field, probably like 3 minutes on our house.
And so it's your testimony, that's the first time that you saw 6 with a fire.
That's the first time I acknowledged seeing him with the black gun. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Anything else? Okay. Also, anything else? Thank you, sir. You may step down. Next witness, please.
Your Honor, this time we call Officer Nister to the stand. Officer Nister.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. The witness box next to me. Thank you. Great.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Officer Nister. Could you just state your name for record, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Police officer Victor, VACTOR, Mr. NISTOR.
Thank you, sir. Where are you employed, sir?
Detroit Police, 9 Police.
Thank you, sir. I want to draw your attention to the case we're here for, sir. Did you receive a run to the area of Bedford and East Central Forward Freeway, sir?
Yes, sir.
About when was that, if you recall?
I don't remember the exact time, but
Okay, what was the date? I'm sorry. Do you have a copy of your report?
I mean,
Would you look at that, refresh your memory?
yes, sir.
Please do, sir.
5/22/22.
Thank you, sir. When you responded to that area, well, first, were you partnered with anyone that day?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Police officer Fields and police officer Jackson.
When you arrived, what did you do?
Upon arrival, secured the scene, parked my vehicle, assisted the primary with the scene manager and chance.
Okay, and when you canvassed, did you make any discoveries yourself, sir?
Yes, sir.
What was that, sir?
At the address of 9216 Bedford, I observed cameras. I then made contact with email at the location to review some cameras.
Okay, and after you reviewed some camera footage, did you take anything from that location, sir?
The email provided the video feed.
Okay. And would you recognize a copy of that, or one of the videos if I showed it to you today, sir?
Yes.
I'm going to be showing defense counsel mark proposed exhibit number 5. May I approach?
Okay.
Sir, go ahead and watch as much of that as you need to review, please, sir. Officer Nister, what was that video I just had you watch, sir?
It was a driveway camera view of the 9260.
Had a fair and accurate copy of the video that you received from that location via email on May 22nd, 2024?
Yes.
Have there been any changes or alterations to the substance of that video based on your review today and previously, sir?
No.
All right, this time I move for the admission of what's been marked as proposed exhibit number 5.
No objection for Jan.
Admitted.
And publish to the court, Judge.
Yes.
We're going to be playing exhibit number 5 from the beginning. Correct, your honor, stopping at the 2-minute mark exactly. Apart from that video, Officer Nister, did you make any other recoveries while you're on the scene that day, sir? Silly question for you, sir, but would you recognize the area of Bedford and East Edsel Ford if I showed it to you in a map, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is proposed exhibit number 6?
Is it's like a Google photo of the area of Bedford. That's what.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of that area as you observed it back on May 22nd, 2024?
Yes, sir.
Any changes or alterations to the depiction of that area, sir?
No, sir.
I move for the addition of post 6 in evidence.
Any objection?
For exam purposes, no.
Admitted.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to just mark, can you mark the house that you pulled this, or got this video from on there, sir, if you're okay with that? And then just the initial next to that, please, sir. Thank you, sir. Just show defense counsel really quick. I published question. Thanks. I have no further questions for Officer Nister.
Cross examine? No question. No question. All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Thank you.
Jaden Wilson, Your Honor. Jaden Wilson should be.
Please give your name and spelling to the young lady seated here. Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Voice so nice and loud and speak into that microphone and speak to your loved ones together. Stand up. Baby, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir. Could you just state your name for the record, please? Mr. Wilson, I want to draw your attention back to May 22nd, 2024, excuse me. Where were you that afternoon, sir?
I was coming from, coming from school.
How did you get to that area?
We took the bus.
Where did the bus drop you off?
It's like the later story. I forgot the street name, but it's like the later story. Like when we went up the street,
Okay. Where were you walking to?
we was up to the parent house to drop off our stuff.
Do you remember?
Speaking to the microphone, sir, we can't hear you.
We was going to the parent house.
You recall what street that friend was on?
Everything.
Okay. And while you're walking to Evanston Street, what happens? Well, first, who's we? You keep saying we. Who are you?
Elijah.
What happens while you're walking?
As we walking, we get to the service yard. To certain people from, I forgot the name of the street, came up and we hear them like saying, come here. Like, so I told Elijah Reese to come on, we right here. We might as well go to our crowd. And he was like, oh, I'm trying to see if I know him. So we ended up turning back around and approaching him. And that's
So let's stop there. So how many people did you see?
first.
Okay, could you describe what they looked like? What were they wearing?
Like,
To approach these individuals with Elijah, what happens next?
so we talked to him like we were saying, like, I mean, not we, but they was, one of them was looking at the shoes and
One was looking at the shoes.
like Reese.
Hold on a second. Thank you. So one was looking at, you said, Elijah's shoes,
Yes.
and what happens next?
Yeah.
Speaking to the microphone, sir, can hear.
And the one of them was like, I forgot what he said, but then he ended up touching his pockets.
When you say touching his pockets, what does that look like?
I feel him on his pocket.
You kind of like slapping at your legs, like a pat down?
Like, not necessarily pat down, but
You're kind of rubbing.
like feel.
Okay, you're rubbing your hands pockets, is that fair?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just asking, so you're touching your pants pockets right now, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When that's happening, was anything being said by that individual?
It was like we like pocket, and then the other one was like gonna get some shoes. And
Who was that said to?
Elijah Reese.
Okay.
And then
What happens next?
Elijah was like, no, y'all gotta be nothing. And that's when I forgot which one it said, but then one of them was like, you talking real crazy. And that's when everything.
Okay. What did you see next?
That's when me and Elijah was gonna walk over, that's when they put our guns in.
Well, stop there. How many guns did you see?
I only see two.
Okay. So you see two guns, and where are you and Elijah at compared to the other three? How far apart?
Like close but not close.
Would you say you were closer than you and I are right now? Okay, so further back?
No, like close.
Oh, closer. How about right about here?
Closer.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, so from me to you, about 5 feet, is that fair?
That seems fair.
Okay, so about 5 feet?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Were all three individuals standing right there, sir?
Yeah.
You indicated that two of them had guns that you saw, is that fair?
Yes.
So you're about 5 feet apart, you, Elisha, and these three individuals, and what happens next?
Yeah, as we finna walk away, they pull our gun.
That's when they put out the gun. One of them was like, stop talking crazy, and that's when I turned my head as I'm
And I'm
turning.
gonna object, saying one of them that has to be attributed to somebody that's being attributed to a certain person, you can't just say one of them said this, one said that.
Well, it's not hearsay, Judge, because telling someone to do something is a command, which is not an assertion, so it can't be true or false, which is the requirement for hearsay, so it's not hearsay. Telling someone open the door, that's not an assertion, that's a command.
It's still not identified to anybody.
Well, Judge, this is done by 3 individuals in the group of an armed robbery, and it's co-conspirator statement at the very least, if we have to go that route, but still, it's not hearsay.
Co-conspirators statements can be used. If it's not law. Co-conspirators against the other co-conspirators.
It's still, Judge, I think you have a situation where we keep hearing these 2 guns, there's a third person here that may not be involved in a co-conspirator, that may have said something, maybe didn't say something, but there's no evidence
So we
pointing
need
them
people
involved.
to their fruits. They're not identifying your client. They're identifying
So the individual that was doing the feeling, you recall that individual? Is that
your client.
yes?
Yes,
Was he one of the people with the guns?
not that I see.
Okay. So it's the other 2 people that had the guns.
Yes,
How many people were doing the feeling of the pockets?
one,
Okay. And then the other 2 had the guns?
yes,
Okay. Who was the one that said y'all acting crazy or don't be crazy? I can't remember the exact statement. Was it the person with the guns or without the guns? Y'all acting crazy.
I was talking crazy.
Yes, you're talking crazy. I apologize.
One with the gun,
Okay, one of the guys with the gun. Is that fair?
yes.
Does anybody say anything else after you're talking crazy?
I don't remember, but once they said that, that's when we just had to kind of walk away. They put them out.
What happens after the guns are pulled out?
When the guns put out, I turned my head, like, I turned my head to see who's behind me, because I'm getting ready to run. As I'm turning my head, that's when I hear the gunshot.
How many gunshots? Was there more than one?
Yes,
What about more than 5?
I think so.
Can you describe let's talk a little bit about the guns themselves. What do the guns look like?
One of them was black and one of them was black and they had like red stuff.
Yeah, what?
Like it was red on it.
So one was all black and then you said one had red stuff on it, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Were these long guns or short guns?
Rifles or pistols?
pistols.
Thank you, Judge. And I want to talk a little bit about what everyone was wearing, okay?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Start with anybody, like, what was the first person you remember wearing?
black. Like detail.
I'm sorry?
Detail,
Yes, please, sir.
black hoodie with like writing on it. And like black pants.
Okay, do you remember what color the writing was on this first person?
It was either like white and red.
Is it white or red, just so I'm clear?
Yes,
What about, were they wearing anything on their face?
mask,
Okay, what color was the mask?
black.
Do you recall anything about that first individual?
No.
The next individual, what was that individual wearing?
Basically, same. So like this is a
I'm sorry?
basically the same thing, but like different stuff,
Okay,
Like different stuff.
like writing is color.
do you recall what color that one was?
No,
Do you recall that you wrote a statement out in this case?
yes,
Okay, if I showed you that statement, would that help refresh your memory as to what color that writing was?
yes.
Your Honor, you're showing the defense counsel first, page 3 of that statement. Approach. Wilson, I'm just gonna have you read it to yourself, okay, don't get yourself out. This question. And the answer, okay? Sorry. Refresh your memory just about what color that writing was? Is that yes?
Yes,
Okay, what color was that writing?
white,
And then I want to talk about then finally that last individual, okay? The third person?
Yeah.
What color outfit was that person wearing?
right,
And I think that Brett asked, going back to the second person with the white writing. What was that person wearing anything on their face?
glasses,
And then going finally to the third person, was that individual wearing anything on their face?
glasses,
So I want to talk about now the black gun with the red on it. Do you recall that?
yes,
Okay. Do you recall which individual had the black gun with the red on it?
I don't remember what it, like, the order,
That's
but
okay.
it was like one, like, sort of,
Okay. Do you recall what that person was wearing? What about the all black gun? Do you recall who was holding that?
the one, right,
The one with the white writing, you said?
yes,
Okay. Do you recall I just want to make sure I'm getting this correctly. The all black gun was with the individual with the white writing?
yes,
Okay. But you don't recall the black gun with the red on it? You recall of the three, which one was doing the patting or the touching of the pockets?
the one, those,
And you're pointing to your left, is that correct?
yes,
You recall what color articles of clothing that person was
I think really,
wearing? You said red what?
right,
Red writing? Is that correct?
yes,
What about the person that asked for the shoes? Do you recall who said that?
the one that was saying, so, towards the right,
To the right. Is that you're pointing to your right? Okay. Do you recall what color that person was wearing? And See where the guns came from
It was,
in the waistline? Just correct, you're pointing towards your mid area.
yeah,
After you heard the gunshots, what did you do?
I ran towards like the fields. And I was running. I turned back to see if the white Bruce was running with
Okay,
me.
why don't we try this? Since you're not wearing the mask, anyway, why don't you pull it all the way off? Oh,
So I ran into the field and I turned back to see if the light Bruce was running with me. And I seen him limping, holding his holding himself. So I turned back. I tried to grab him to walk him to my friend's house so I could call the police. But he ended up dropping, and I seen a car come by, and I stopped him, and that's when I called the police.
You indicated that this was on the service drive, is that correct?
Yes,
Do you recall which service drive this was on?
he said
what?
everything,
Edmonds.
everything.
Do you recall any of those other cross streets? Let me ask this way. Do you recall the other streets that are running into the service drive?
You know what city you were in?
Yes,
What city?
Detroit.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Cross exam.
Nothing for me.
Nothing was actually taken, correct?
No,
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Step down, you're all set.
Julie's correct.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Keep your voice up nice and loud. Speaking to that microphone that will be to your left once you have a seat. Just yank it over. Put the microphone to your mouth. And begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you state your name, please? So, Ms. Carter, I want to draw your attention back to May 22nd, 2022, okay? Where were you that day? Where's home?
I'm sorry.
Judge,
You gotta speak
Why don't
into
you
the mic.
remove the mask? Take the mask off. Yes.
Why do I have to repeat my name?
What street? I'm sorry? No, what street do you live on? Oh, sorry, I'm living wrong. I apologize. Okay. Who all was there that afternoon, ma'am? Did you hear something that brings you to court today? Anything happen outside?
I can't hear you.
What'd you hear outside? Okay. From what direction did you hear this gunshot?
I'm not sure.
About how many did you hear?
I'm not sure.
Do you recall giving a statement to the police about it?
I'm sorry,
Do you recall giving a statement to the police about the number of gunshots you heard?
yes.
Okay, if I showed it,
Yeah, I can't remember.
okay, if I showed it to you, would that maybe help you remember?
Say yes?
Yes.
Showing page 1. May I first?
Yes.
3. First line to yourself. Okay. That help refresh your memory about the number of gunshots?
Yeah, but I've seen it in the paper.
That's, I appreciate that. I'm asking you to recall. Does that help you remember how many gunshots?
No, sir, I can never remember my gunshots, but I remember those things.
It's okay. So how many? Was it more than one?
Yes,
Okay, how about more than 5?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But multiple gunshots?
Yes.
After you hear the gunshots, what happens next?
My niece ran upstairs and
I want you to know what your niece said. After your niece comes upstairs, what happens after that?
I'm not getting what you're saying. You asked me what happened next, and I'm telling you what happened next, but you just say you don't want to hear what my niece
I
said.
can't ask you about what your niece said, so I'm asking, so your niece came upstairs, is that correct?
Yes, that's what happened next.
Okay, and she told you something?
Yes,
Okay, what happens after that?
I went downstairs.
Okay. What'd you see when you got downstairs?
When I got downstairs, I seen my nieces
Okay,
in the kitchen, and I was getting ready for work.
and then what?
And I see my son-in-law with the shirt.
See anyone else?
So you see, I see this.
With shirt.
Did you see anyone else?
No,
You didn't see anyone else that whole time?
but,
What about your son's friends?
no, I didn't see them. When I came downstairs, I didn't even know.
Objection. Oh, that's very good. Well, we give people a chance to flush that out.
All right. Well, before you came downstairs, did you hear anything going on outside otherwise?
Now, did you refer to your first question?
Besides the gunshots, did you hear anything outside?
No,
What about voices?
no.
You didn't hear any voices?
Outside,
Yeah. So again, you gave a statement to the police, correct?
yes.
Show you that. Take a moment to read that for yourself, please. The whole first page.
Can you put that back on the microphone, please, that you just knocked up?
So you just testified that you didn't hear any voices outside, is that correct?
Yes,
But then you actually told the police that you did hear voices outside, is that correct?
yes.
Okay. After you heard these voices, what did you do?
I don't think so.
What did you see?
Judge, I'm sorry, I believe her testimony is that she didn't hear any voices. She agreed, she acknowledged the fact that she told the police she heard voices. But then the follow-up question, I believe, is inappropriate, because that's not her testimony, it mischaracterizes her testimony.
Did you hear voices outside now?
Yes.
Whose voices did you hear?
I don't know who was there. I heard this.
I didn't hear you.
I said, I don't know who was there. I heard a whole voice and I looked out the window.
When you looked out the window, what did you see?
My son friend.
Sorry,
My son friend.
who was that? What was Barry doing?
Hop the gate. Or come to the window. He did the hop the gate and come to the window. I think he was in the I'm sorry.
Hold on, hold on.
Need to hear what you're saying.
So you first communicated you saw your son's friend Barry, is that correct? Okay, what was he doing?
He was hopping the gate or come to the window.
Okay. Did he have anything with him?
Yes.
What?
Um,
What kind of gun?
um,
Was it a pistol or a rifle? Okay. Was that I don't know?
yes.
You recall what he was wearing?
He was black shirt.
Okay. What about anything on his head?
I think he had a mask or a hat. Wash.
Do you recall what color that was?
It's like,
For any of your son's other friends there?
in the house, yes.
Right.
In the house?
Yes.
Yes.
Who?
Thank you.
How do you know Barry and Anthony?
You know, son friends.
How long have your son been friends with these guys?
I want to say like over 5 years or something.
Okay. And over the course of the 5 years, how often would you say you saw Barry and Anthony?
Like,
A lot. When you say that, would that be multiple times a week, a month?
yes, like they basically stayed with me, basically.
You see Barry and Anthony in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Starting with Anthony, where is Anthony seated and what is he wearing?
So I would think, you know. I think he ran a blue shirt.
Can you stand and look? Would that be okay?
He ran a blue t-shirt.
He's wearing what?
Blue t-shirt.
What kind of hair does he have? Is he seated or standing?
He's seated.
Okay. And is he in this well here or is he in the back audience? I just want to make sure.
He's here.
Sorry.
He's here.
He's in the well here?
Yes.
Okay. Now, may the record reflect identification of the defendant, Anthony Carter?
So no,
As for Barry, do you see Barry in the court?
Yes.
Where is he seated?
He's seated over there with the beige shirt on.
Okay. Is he seated next to Anthony?
Yes.
Now, may the record reflect identification of Barry Love?
so no,
Let me sit back down, start, thank you. Then, Ms. Carter, after the incident, we're shown some photos by the police. Okay, if I showed you those photos, would you recognize them today, ma'am? Okay. I'm trying to make sure I don't mess up my my numbering here. I believe I'll be on, starting on number 7, Judge, people proposing exhibit 7. So I'm going to be showing proposed exhibits 7, 8, and 9. May I approach?
Yes.
Approaching with the same proposed exhibits 7, 8, and 9. Walk you through each of these by here. So starting with proposed exhibit number 7, Ms. Carter, what did I hand you? Okay.
Sorry.
Is that a photograph, ma'am?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate photograph that you were shown and signed by the police in this case, ma'am? Apart from the exhibit sticker, have there been any changes or alterations to that document? Has that been changed in any way?
Look, this,
The photo, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I go on to number 8, please, ma'am? What is that? I'm sorry.
very,
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate photo of Barry that you were shown by the police and signed?
yes.
And wait. Yes. Can we show it? One moment, Judge. There's confusion with this photograph. Sorry about that, Your Honor. Again, fair and accurate copy of that photo you were shown by the police and signed, Ms. Carter?
Yeah.
Are there any changes or alterations since you saw it, ma'am?
No.
And going to number 9, ma'am, what's that? I'm sorry? So that's Anthony?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate copy of the photo you were shown by police and signed, ma'am?
Yes.
Have there been any changes or alterations to it, ma'am? All right, I move for the admission of proposed exhibits 7, 8, and 9.
The objection, no objection for exam purposes.
Exam purposes only, Judge.
Admitted?
And publish?
Yes.
And then, Ms. Carter, does your house have any cameras?
Can't hear you.
Really speaking to that.
Yes.
Were there any videos collected by the police from May 22nd, 2024?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I'm not sure, but I gave him that. Password.
Okay. If I showed you some videos with that, would you be able to recognize them? So I'm going to be showing proposed exhibits 10 and 11. Just pull them up. May I approach?
Yes.
Show you first proposed exhibit 10. Closing exhibit 11 as well. So first, Ms. Carter, where did those videos come from?
My,
Words for me,
my house.
Ma'am, I asked you to remove the mask. Talking to the microphone, please.
It came from my house.
These are the same videos you gave the police access to download, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, have there been any changes or alterations to the content of that video, ma'am? Or those videos, I should say?
No, I don't know. I never seen the videos.
You haven't seen them before?
No.
Um. You indicated you live on Courtville, is that correct? I'm not asking the house number. Is that correct?
Yes.
What's the intersection immediately next to your house?
Disaster.
Yes.
King Richard. King Richard.
King Richard Street?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, no further questions at this time.
Cross-examine.
Just like 1 second here. No question.
Just briefly. Jamel Carter is your son, correct?
Yes.
Anthony Carter has no blood relation to you,
Mhm.
and Barry Love has no blood relation to you, correct? So your allegiance would be to Jamel Carter over the other two individuals at this name, correct?
Excuse me.
Your allegiance would be to Jamel Carter and not to Anthony Carter or Barry Love. Would that be fair to say?
Wait, I'm not understanding what you're saying.
You would favor, yeah, I know, I'm trying to use it different. You would support Jamel Carter over Anthony Carter and Barry Love. It came down to it, fair to say. Seeing that's your son,
Like, what is you trying to say?
I'm
Well,
just asking a question.
no.
Under any circumstances, would you come in here and lie to us?
No.
You redirect?
No.
Can you redirect?
No redirect.
Ma'am, safe to say, you don't want to be here, do you? Up into the microphone so I can hear
I
you.
know.
And you don't want to be here because of these two gentlemen that are in here in court. You've known them for a long time, is that right? And they're friends with your son, is that right?
That's not why that's not why I don't want to be here.
Why don't you want to be here?
I have safety reasons. My house already been shot up. So y'all just, I had the safety reason. My house already been shot up. Y'all just made me put my whole fucking house on in court.
Don't forget where you are, but watch your language, okay? And you didn't put your address on the
But
record.
I still put the street and State Street. Same thing.
No, it's not. So you say your house has been
Yes,
shot
and I
up.
have 7 children in my house. Or under the age of 12.
When was your house shot up?
Can't remember the date, but it was right at the they did baby.
I should have asked that before. You know, personal knowledge.
There's none.
So you said that.
I was gonna say, yeah, if that's stricken, all right.
You said that while you were in your house, you heard what you believe to be gunshots, is that right?
Yes.
You looked outside and you saw these guys, you said you saw Barry with a gun. What was Barry doing with the gun?
So I believe coming through the window or he either hopping or something, like I can't remember. But I know that he did have anything.
Okay. And you said you don't know if it was
I don't know what kind of gun it was.
did you tell if it was a pistol or a rifle?
I just know it was black.
You could tell it was a gun?
Yes, I've seen the clear thing.
Okay. And was Barry the only one you saw out there with the gun?
Barry was the only one that I seen when I looked outside the window.
Okay, so you didn't see anybody else?
No.
And you've identified Barry here in court, and you also identified Anthony. Is that right? All right. Any questions based on my questions?
Okay.
Ms. Carter, Barry was the only individual that you saw outside with a gun, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
You said he may have had a mask on or a hat on, correct?
Yes.
So he may have had a mask over his face.
Oh, no, I see it. I never see it.
Okay, nothing further.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step in. Next, please.
Myra Brown, Your Honor.
Why is everybody wearing masks today? Y'all know something I don't know? Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. Please have a seat. The witness box next to me. And you can remove the mask so I can hear you. Speaking to that microphone, it'll be to your left. Baby, get when you're ready.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you state your name, please? Brian, I want to draw your attention back to May 22nd, 2024, okay? Is that a yes? Okay, can you just
Put the
put that
microphone down.
microphone? You bring it down, okay? Hold on to it. Speak right into it, okay? Where were you the afternoon of May 22nd, 2024?
Sit up, sir.
Who's your auntie?
Julissa Carter?
Was that Ms. Carter that just left the court?
Yes.
That afternoon, did you hear anything that brings you into court today? That afternoon, did you hear anything that brings you into court today? Outside.
No. I'm confused with the
On
question.
May 22nd, 2024. Did you, something unusual happened on that day that caused you to come to court today?
Yes,
What was that?
before he got killed.
What did you hear before that happened?
Like going to my side of the street.
Where were you?
We was all sitting inside the kitchen.
Who were you with?
It was me, my little sister Tania, my cousin Dariana, and then her best friend Briarmi. We was sitting inside the kitchen, we was talking.
I want to know what you guys are talking about. Okay, what happens after you're talking?
The two boys walked past the house, and one of the boys was looking inside, like when he was walking past the house, he was looking inside the window. And then my cousin Dariana, she was like,
Without telling me what Darian said, I want to stop you there, okay?
okay.
What street were the two boys walking
Back to street,
on? Okay, what street's the house?
Purville,
Okay, was it on Courtville or the other street?
the side street.
The side street? Okay. So you see two boys, two boys walking by and one looked in?
Yeah.
What happens after you see the two boys walk by?
The dog was barking at them, and I told the dog to be quiet, and then one of the boys looked back. And I told the boy that I was talking to him, and then he started smiling, and then they kept walking down.
What happens next? Or what's the next thing you remember?
Like 5 or 10 minutes later, when we just heard a shot, and we all got on the ground.
You say you heard shots, do you mean gunshots?
Yes,
About how many?
it was like a couple, I don't remember how many, but it was like a couple.
That's okay, so you hear gunshots, everyone hits the deck, hits
Uh-huh.
the floor? Is that a yes?
Yes,
What happens next? Or what's the next thing you're?
then I tried to look out the window, but I couldn't see all the way, so I opened up the screen and put my head out there. And put my head out the window so I can see. And then I saw the boy stumbling to the other boy.
Were these the same two boys you saw walk by?
Yes,
After you see that boy stumble, what do you remember next?
I go to tell my auntie, well, we was in the hallway and AJ said something, but
Stop you. So first off, so you wanted to tell your auntie something, and then there's someone now by the name of AJ, is that correct?
yes,
Who's AJ?
Anthony Carter,
Do you see Anthony Carter in the courtroom?
yes,
Where is he seated?
Arthur,
And you're pointing to your right, my left.
yes,
Is he seated or standing?
seated,
What color is he wearing?
dark blue,
Okay. And what did that individual say?
I couldn't hear what he said, but very,
Who's Barry? Where is Barry seated in relation to AJ or Anthony?
next to him,
Your Honor, may the record reflect that application of both Mr. Carter as well as Mr. Love?
So noted.
What did Barry say?
he said we was gonna have to blow him, so I blew him.
Did you see anything that these individuals had?
No,
Was anybody with those two?
was,
Was anybody with Barry and AJ?
yes, my cousin Janelle.
How long have you known these three guys?
For a couple years.
For a couple of years? Okay. I just got a couple more questions for you, okay? You okay? You need some tissue? So at some point, Ms. Brown, did the police talk to you about what happened that day, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay. Did you go through some photos with them?
yes,
Would you recognize those photos if I showed them to you?
yes,
I'm going to be showing proposed exhibits 12 and 13. May I approach you?
You may.
Ms. Brown, I'm going to hand you these. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Okay, I'm going to start with number 12. Ms. Brown, what is number 12?
this is Janelle,
Okay, but generally, is that a photo?
yes,
Okay, is that a photo you were shown by the police?
yes,
Have there been any changes or alterations to that photo since you were shown it by the police?
no,
And going to number 13, what's that?
photo of AJ,
Okay, is that a photo you were shown by the police, ma'am?
yes,
Looks the same as when you saw it and signed it.
yes,
Any changes or alterations to it, ma'am?
no,
I move for the admission of both exhibits, 12 and 13.
Okay. No, admitted. Do you know AJ by any other name?
Anthony,
That's the Anthony identified here in court?
yes,
May I publish?
Yes.
Do you know the nicknames of the other two individuals, Barry and Mel?
They be calling him Blood Six
Who's,
or Barry.
okay, what about Mel?
They call him RB.
RB?
Mhm.
So yes.
Yes,
Were there any other nicknames you're aware of?
no,
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Cross-examine. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Brown, you indicated you were at your aunt Jaleesa Carter's house, right?
yes,
So Jamel Carter, her son, is your cousin?
yes,
Okay. Thank you. And you were there, who else was at your aunt's house that day?
my little sister Tamia, my cousin Dariana, and then her best friend, Briari.
And then you indicated that you heard Barry say, he said we would have to blow him, so I blew him, correct?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Further. Thank you. Can you redirect?
No, Judge, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You may sit.
Your Honor, at this time, we're going to call Ms. Brunner, Kathleen Brunner.
Yeah, turn around.
Ms. Brown. One rights, one opposed.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat. The witness box next to me. May begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Kathleen Bruner,
Thank you, Ms. Bruner. Where are you employed at, Ms. Bruner?
Detroit Police Department,
For how long?
just over 10 months.
What's your title with the?
Forensic technician.
Thank you. Did you do a run as a forensic technician as it pertains to this matter?
Yes.
When was that?
May 24th.
And where did you go?
9303 Warville.
And as a forensic technician, what are your duties when you go to a scene?
We processed the scene, the documentation, and collection of evidence.
Who were you partnered with that day?
Forensic technician training at Lisa Hachi.
Who, when you document, how do you document the scene?
We do photographs and written notes.
Who took the photos that day?
I did.
And I just want to focus on just a couple things, Ms. Bruner. If I showed you some photographs from that date. Would you recognize them? I'm showing defense counsel proposed exhibits 14 and 15. Approach.
May.
What are proposed exhibits 14 and 15, Ms. Bruner?
There are photos. Consent for the speaking therapy.
We're told first, are those current accurate copies of the photos as you took them back on May 24th, 2024?
Yes.
Have there been any changes or alterations to those photos other than the exhibit stickers?
No.
Move for the initial proposed exhibits, excuse me, 14 and 15.
No objection, present. No objection, present. They made it?
May I publish?
May.
Ms. Bruder, where were those photos taken within the Portville address?
The southwest bedroom,
Would that be the first floor or the second?
the first one.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions for Ms. Bruder.
Just cross examine.
And the two photos are the same pair of jeans, is that correct?
Yes.
One is laying across a crib or a bed. Is that it? So that's the same jeans, correct?
Yes.
In the second picture, they're being held. Are you holding them or is your partner?
My partner.
Thank you.
I have no problem. Thank you, you may put that.
Lastly, Your Honor, forensic technician, Caitlin Humber.
Please give your name and spelling to the court reporter.
Caitlin Tom. K-A-T-E-L-Y-N. Last name is Tom, H-O-M.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Thank you. You're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Humber. Could you state your name, please?
Caitlin Tom.
Where are you employed?
The Detroit Police Department.
In what capacity?
Forensic technician,
How long have you been a forensic technician?
3.5 years.
And did you receive a run as it pertains to this matter, Ms. Humber?
Yes.
When was that?
May 22nd, 2084.
Where did that run take you to?
We were pulled out to East Exel Ford and Bedford.
And who reported that?
Forensic technician training Joshua Liriano.
And that day, did you recover any items of evidentiary value?
Yes.
Speaking, I want to just narrow the focus to ballistics evidence. Was there any?
Yes.
What ballistics evidence?
So I collected 16 9mm fired shell casings and 2 fired bullets.
And are you familiar with the area of Bedford and East Esselford?
Yes.
If I showed you a map of that area, would you recognize it?
Yes.
I'm showing what's been previously marked as People's Code 16. May I approach?
Yes.
And what is proposed exhibit 16, Tom?
So this is part location of the scene, the intersection of Bedford East Edsel Ford, and then the surrounding neighborhood.
That fair and accurate depiction of the area as you observed it back on May 22nd?
Yes,
Any changes or alteration?
not that I know.
What do you see in it?
No.
Okay. I move the admission of proposed 16 evidence.
Any objection?
Well, one was written on, this is a complete.
Oh, okay, no objection.
Okay, admitted.
So going through the scene, where were the shell casings located at?
Okay, so if you started at the intersection that we were dispatched to at Bedford and East Edsel Ford. At that location, Bedford runs in a north-south direction and East Edsel Ford runs in like a relatively east to west direction. So if you're going north or up Bedford, the fired shell casings were along the right or the east side of Bedford. And then there were 3 shell casings at the intersection of Bedford and King Richard, which is north of that intersection.
I think I'd like to ask you, Ms. Hamba, were you able to determine, as you collected these casings, what caliber they were?
Yes, based off of the head stamps on the fired shell casings, they were 9mm.
Okay, all 16 of them?
Yes.
And then where were the, you might have said it and I apologize, where were the 2 fired bullets or cartridges found?
So one fired bullet was recovered from the decedent's backpack that he had on. And the second fired bullet was recovered from the ground along the east rim of Bedford.
Was this decedent still on the scene when you made the location that they met?
Yes.
Okay, where did you document that?
Sorry?
Did you document that as part of your duties that day?
Yes.
Okay, and where was the decedent located?
The decedent was located at the northwest corner of the intersection of Bedford and East Edsel Ford. So at the time, it was just a grassy field.
Just so I'm clear, Ms. Hahn, could you just mark on the map here that I've given you, if possible, where the location of the decedent was on it? And an initial next to it. It's going to show the counselor. Published judge.
Yes.
I have no further questions for Tom. Thank you.
Prosecutor.
I'll need that document on the court.
This one?
Yes, yes, sure. I'm gonna have you look at the document you marked, where it's marked. It's a D1, that's where they use the seed side.
Correct.
Okay, from there, where did you find the shell casings?
So from where the decedent was, the shell casings were found along the east side of Bedford. So if we're heading north from the decedent, they were along the east berm, sidewalk, and the yard of 9140 Bedford. And then there were 3 9mm fired shell casings in the intersection of Bedford and King Richard.
I have no further questions. Just wanted to clarify.
You mentioned there were two spent bullets, correct?
Yes, there were two fire
Two
bullets.
fire bullets. One was in the decedent's backpack,
Correct.
and the other was found on Bedford by the sidewalk. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I believe it was on the east berm. So if you were to,
What is that? What's that second word? East what?
berm, so the area of grass between the sidewalk and the street.
Okay.
And then if I were to relate that to where the shell casings were, it would be south of the shell casings. Or between the shell casings and the decedent.
So let's get this straight. Let's point here to where the fire bullet. Not the one in the backpack. Obviously.
Yes, so I would say approximately right here.
So that's a Foreign Service drive. And Bedford Connect, correct?
Correct.
And there is a home location of 9140 Bedford, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And in your report, it's, you actually say that the fire bullet was just south of 9140 Bedford, fair to say?
Yes, if you were to do, I guess, to be more accurate, it would be to the southwest of the address.
The southwest of the
Correct.
right, okay, fair enough, that's first.
Can you redirect?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You may step down. Thank you for being well prepared. Next witness.
I have no further witnesses, Judge.
Any witnesses for the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
No.
People?
Thank you, Your Honor. Are we moving to find over as charged in the complaint warrant for Mr. Love, Your Honor? Who specifically identified as not only talking about blowing Mr. Reeves after shooting him, but then specifically identified as the one of the individuals that had a firearm as he was coming into the home on Fort Hill Street. Mr. Carter, unless my memory is mistaken, which I know that Mr. Konecki will tell me, I believe that the testimony of Mr. Wilson was that the individual with the white writing on his shirt also had one of the guns. Unless I'm misremembering, but if that's the case, that's going to be based on the photos you have before you, Judge, in the video. That's Anthony Carter. Specifically, Tamira Brown is the one that identifies based on the still image of the video from the Courtroom address where the three individuals are running by. The individual with the white lettering on his hoodie as AJ or Anthony Carter. So for a probable cause standard, I mean, there's several identifications made both by Ms. Brown as well as Ms. Jaleesa Carter. Pair that with the video, which you hear on the video itself, numerous gunshots that are made, whether or not it's 16, I'm not sure, but it's certainly more than 7. Coupled with the testimony from Jaden Wilson that this started over a pair of shoes and that he saw Elijah Reese being rubbed down on his pockets Whether or not something's taken during the course of an armed robbery does not matter, Judge. The fact that it has to be something of value has to be asked for. The shoes, certainly, Judge, and the shot over. So I think based on a probable cause standard for these two individuals, Judge, that we have met our burden and should be bound over to circuit court as charged. Thank you.
With regard to Mr. Carter, there's been no evidence whatsoever presented that anything other than he was there at the home after this happened. No one.
Let's talk about what we do know. We know there were 3 guys that were there, right?
That's the testimony was that there were 3 individuals that were involved there. That in some
2 of
fashion.
them had guns and one was patting them down. I presume the 2 had guns while the one who didn't have the gun was patting them down.
Well, I don't think the guns were. My recollection of the testimony, nothing came out until after there was some discussion and some patting down. That's my recollection of it. And then after that is when guns came out. Because that witness who testified indicated they were trying to leave.
Okay.
He was trying to get his friend. But regardless, what we have, and we have seen a video that shows 3 people running. We have no specific identification that puts Mr. Anthony Carter there being involved with the gun, shooting a gun, patting anyone down. No one can say anything other than he's there at the house later. No one puts a gun in his hand later. No one puts has a gun when they're hiding him behind the garage with the initial witness. We've got no nexus between Anthony Carter and what happened here. There's nothing's been presented in order to connect him to this in any way, even at a probable cause standard, that he should be found over to face further scrutiny, to go further on this case when there hasn't been anything presented. You have other witnesses saying other things about individuals that had guns, individuals that made statements that are admissions. You've got none of that is attributed to Anthony Carter. And I think you also have one of the witnesses here is the mother of at this point, unindicted individual who's also listed as a co-defendant on this, and Jamel Carter. So that person, and I know the court gets
information.
I'm sorry?
He does appear on this information as defendant number 2.
Right, he's listed on there, but he has not been arrested, he has not been brought, but we have. I'm sorry, well, he hasn't actually been appeared to appear before, but I mean, there is, I presume, a warrant out for Jamel Carter's arrest based on the information, but he has not been brought to court, he's not been brought forward. His mother is here giving testimony and saying what she says she remembers, but even she doesn't put Anthony Carter involved in any way other than he's there. At some point, he's there. And no one could say when he gets there, how he got there, or anything other than he's there. And it's just not enough.
Again, the individual with the white lettering, which is identified by Ms. Brown, that's the person that's the second shooter. That's the testimony. I'm not saying that Mr. Carter made a statement. To my knowledge, he hasn't.
Second shooter or second person with the gun?
Second person with the gun. Either way, Judge, he's an individual as part of this armed robbery. Certainly, Judge.
Based on what I heard, there's only evidence of one person shooting.
That's not true, Judge.
So how do I get to? Because I got.
He did not testify
I
that
got 9mm casings found. I didn't hear anything about them being different from different guns or anything like that. And I heard an alleged admission by Mr. Love indicating he said blow him, so I blew him.
Correct, Judge.
So where does the other shooter come in?
Judge, the testimony was that he saw both of these individuals pull out their guns after the attempt at the shoes, and then he turned around and the gunshots were starting.
But okay, guns were pulled, but how do I know both were fired?
Well, Judge, even if both weren't fired, which we're still waiting on ballistics on that, Judge. The fact that there was then an FA afterwards would still be enough as.
Yeah, I don't argue with you there,
Okay.
but I said, let's make the record clear.
Okay.
And accurate in that you said shooters, but we don't know if there was more than one shooter.
I have nothing on this record I can say, Judge, but
That's what I'm confined to is this.
absolutely, and I appreciate your clarity and thoroughness, Judge. But in
I'm sorry,
terms of
go ahead.
in terms of the individual with the white lettering that was specifically identified by Mr. Wilson as one of the 3 people there, you can see on the video that only one person has white lettering on his hood. You have an individual that's marked in the photos as Mel.
People's Exhibit 7.
Yes, Judge, and that's the same hoodie. That's the exact same hoodie as you see in the video.
So your argument is that he's one of the people who had the gun.
Absolutely. And if not, Judge, then we have someone that's patting him down, but the testimony was it wasn't the one with the white lettering, so.
We're talking about a black sweatshirt with white writing. I mean, we're not talking about a very specific picture or very specific wording or something that you could,
Circumstantially speaking, we have this defendant, Anthony Carter, there as well, and have him running from the scene. You have him with the same black jacket with white writing on it. Circumstantially speaking.
I still, that a black sweatshirt with white writing isn't, as I said, like, it's not that extra, that little bit more, that's more defining, more in actually describing and being more specific. It's a very basic, plain type of shirt, a black shirt with white writing. I would venture to guess there's millions of those in the city of Detroit. And what we have is individuals running. We don't know where they're.
I don't have millions at this scene. I have your client.
We have a number of people wearing all black clothing, and in fact,
For
a number of
white writing, I see a person with red writing. I see your client with white writing, and I see a person with no shirt on at all.
My other issue, the photos that were shown as part of the identification, they were not at all identified as being from the day of the incident. That was not brought up. I don't remember that. The picture where the individuals are outside and their individual has a shirt off. There's no indication that that was from the day of the incident when those photos, they were used to identify who those people were, but there's no indication that those were from the day of the incident, which means that their value is less. I believe my client was identified as the one with no shirt on.
Okay, so you're saying, well, how does that help you?
I'm just saying
on that day.
that what we have is them identifying photos of individuals that they can't say are from that day, but they want to use those to kind of then backdoor in that, well, then with the right white writing and everything.
So certainly the video and the still photos of this person with this black jacket on with the writing on is from that day.
I took that's there appear to be 3 individuals that ran through that driveway. We saw them run through. Those are stills. I mean, you look at that, I can see that there's black and white. I can't tell you that's white writing, that's a design, what it says, if anything, if there's any sort of.
If you look at it, the white writing, particularly the first line of the white writing, it's not written straight across. It's like in a half circle type thing, exactly like we have here.
But what we don't know is when that shirt is from, how long and again, it's a black shirt with white writing. When did he wear the one that is in the identification photo, as opposed to that day? Who else had that? We have an individual without a shirt. We have an individual that was described white writing. Some maybe had red. Another one had all black. It was white. There was no specific identification of putting him there involved in this. It's all him there afterwards, and they can't say that he was involved in any fashion.
Just the video speaks for itself, and that still photograph from the video, which was collected that same day by Officer Nister, is the photo they identified Mr. Carter in. It could not be more clear, Judge. That photo you're holding, I don't remember which number. Not the booking photo, the other photo, Judge.
Number 13.
This is AJ. That is from the video from that date. It could not be more clear, Judge. And that's the photo that Ms. Brown specifically said, this is AJ. With the same photo, or excuse me, the same hoodie, whenever that other photo is taken. It doesn't matter when that other photo is taken, Judge. It's the fact that they still wearing the same hoodie.
Court application testimony from a number of witnesses, namely Sean Harris, police officer Victor Mister, Steve Carter, Tamara Brown, Kathleen Brunner, and Caitlin Hahn. Satisfied that people have met their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in complaint 1, as it relates to defendant number 1, Anthony Carter. The court finding those charges were committed in the city of Detroit, and the court finding probable cause to believe this defendant committed them will bind the defendant over to Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court Criminal Division for proceeding. His arraignment on the information date and time will be July 22nd, 2024 at 9:00 a.m.
Sure. No objection as well. There's been, obviously, and very unfortunately, we have a deceased young man where it's a shot away from those. So we have a homicide. There was testimony that 3 individuals appeared at or around the location of King Richard in Bedford and or the service drive in Bedford. Either one of these three individuals could be identified. Of course, because
Doesn't
they're
your client
clothing.
allegedly identify himself by saying he said blown, so I blew?
Well, I'm gonna get to that, Judge. I will. So there is a pat down that takes place. There's mention of shoes, Judge. Now, I think it's worth noting that nothing was taken. There's no testimony that there was an actual attempt to take anything here. Which brings me to the testimony, the allegation that my client said he told me to blow him, so I blew him. I don't think that we have probable cause for the armed robbery portion in connection with the actual shooting. That statement doesn't indicate premeditation, Judge.
Somebody
May
tells me to
indicate
shoot somebody and then I say, so I shot him.
second degree, perhaps, Judge. Not first. Acknowledging however strong or weak or credible not testimony may have been with regards to Mr. Love appearing at a window, fence or backyard. This firearm that he was supposedly holding that can't be identified as a pistol or a rifle, but was supposedly his footage. I don't believe we have the actual unfortunate situation, but
Yeah. I don't have to prove premeditation, although it's certainly there. Second off, there wasn't world demand for give me them shoes, to which the response is, you told me to blow him, so I blew him. That's him refusing this robbery and then getting shot for it. I mean, all the elements are there, Judge. I don't have to prove premeditation. It's still there. So the bind over would be appropriate, Judge, for the same reasons the identifications were made both by Mr. Love's own statement, but also by the photos and video.
If I was to look up the charge of felony murder in the dictionary, it would have this case right there. I mean, I don't think you can get any more clear than give me those shoes. Oh, you talking crazy. He told me to blow him, so I blew him.
who is he, Judge?
But what we do know is that your client admitted that he blew him.
Oh,
And we have
there was
another
testimony to
witness.
such.
We have another witness who testified that your client was in possession of the gun, not the one with the red handle, but the other all black gun that he was trying to conceal by some garage or something to that effect.
Right, that was his testimony. You know,
Yeah.
never mind what he didn't say to the police when he had the opportunity to say that. That was his testimony.
I wasn't there, and that would be hearsay. I'm only going by the testimony that I heard, the sworn testimony, which this court considers as evidence.
That he said under oath.
Yeah. he
Which
said
would be
that-
perjury if he was lying.
I'm not understanding where you're going, but the sworn testimony that I heard was that your client was in possession of the gun. I heard other sworn testimony that your client said, I blew him. I was told to blow him, so I blew him. I don't think there's, and then there's other testimony that there was a demand for some shoes that this 16-year-old baby was wearing. That is textbook felony murder, armed robbery, and a murder during the commission of that armed robbery. I think at a bare minimum, you have a felony murder. And given the evidence I heard, I'm not quite sure why the people had not chosen to also charge first-degree murder premeditated, but I'll leave that alone. As it relates to the charges contained in the complaint report against the defendant number 3, Barry Love, the court is satisfied that the court met their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in the complaint report. The court finds those charges were committed in the city of Detroit. The court finds probable cause to believe this defendant bound over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court Criminal Division for proceedings. His arraignment on the information, date, and time will be July 22nd, 2024, 9:00 a.m. Then it will be remanded to the custody of the Wayne County Sheriff.
So does the bond change without people asking that? What was the original bond? It's $1 million, Judge, which I think is sufficient in this case. My client is 15 years old, Judge. By definition, he's indigent. He doesn't have $1 million. So
This court sets bond not as punishment, but for the protection of the community and your client. If these allegations are true, is a clear danger to the community. For this remand,
right, if they're true.
that's what I said.
Your Honor, would the court refer the matter to pretrial services?
I think that's been referred already.
With that said, though, Judge, it was referred to pretrial services on a different bond. So, and
I'm not gonna have
read
to
the
do that
record.
again. You can ask circuit court. I have your exhibit, Mr. Keeler.
Some stuff we just sign off on.
Judge, I'd like to hear the scene. What were you saying?
No, we were here to see the young lady in the back.
Oh. Hey, Connie, what's up? Hey, little girl. How you doing? You all right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today, folks. Hope to see you tomorrow, same bat station, same bat time. Have a good day.